Welcome back. It's time. You know what time. Time for an update. Time out. We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming for this announcement. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. All right, on the last video, we got the tub mounted to the frame. In this video, I'm gonna give you some updates and some things that need to be addressed as we're continuing to move forward. So the first thing that I approached with this after the tub was on, I went ahead and made sure to bedline the interior. Let's talk about that. I did catch some B-roll, so we'll kind of show that somewhere in here. As you can see with the bedliner, I only bedlined the bottom. I didn't bedline any of the sides. The reason for that is I really like the distressed patina look that's on the interior of this Jeepster, and I thought I do want to still freshen up the floors. I want to make sure that that's good and nice and pretty and all those wonderful things, a little bit more durable, as I mentioned as well. Hopefully, well, since I'm not sure which B-roll we're using, who knows? But what I did is I did use the Rust-Oleum roll-on bed liner instead of something a little bit more fancy or a spray-on. The reason for that is that it was easy. I didn't have to tape off a bunch of stuff. It just kind of laid out nicely. The other piece of that is they sell that same bed liner in a spray-on aerosol form so that as I'm using this Jeep and things get scratched, stuff gets messed with, I can just hit it with some additional spray-on bed liner in the future and fix anything that's wrong with it. So let's look at the interior. All right, so you can see here what I've done is I did go ahead and everything's nice and bed lined. You probably saw some of that with the B-roll as well, maybe not, who knows. And so really it laid on pretty nice. It's fairly thick. Everywhere that I patched the floors up front and the few patch panels in the rear, I went back through and coated with seam sealer. I wanted to make sure nothing rusted up, you know, anything like that, really painted it nice. After I did that, I did go ahead and reinstall the seats. If you guys haven't watched that video, make sure to go back, click here somewhere, click anywhere, and watch the videos on the seat install. I'm still a little bit torn on it, whether or not I want to keep these for the front or I want to switch to a different seat, but for now, they're going to stay in. Got this installed in the back, and then let's look here at the door. So what I did here, well, I haven't done anything yet. We'll jump into this and see if it'll clean up nicely. But this is the patina piece that I kind of liked, the rusted, the blue that's in there. And if you remember that rendering at the very beginning, looks like this. That rendering, it had a blue hue to it as well. So what I'm going to try to do in the future is match the outside of the Jeep with the inside of this door, giving it kind of that faux patinaed look. The reason for that too is there's a lot more bodywork on this Jeepster than I personally want to tackle or can tackle. And when it's all said and done, I want this thing to be usable. You're not worried about getting scratches or another dent. And so I think that patina look is going to really work out nicely. Please let me know down below what you guys think on whether or not the patina is a smart move or if I should take the time to put a nice pretty paint job on this pig. Problem is all my buckets are just filling. Nice. Let's go put some water in this. SOS, sore on Sunday. Is that what that means? Sore on Sunday. Or steel wool in Oklahoma sometimes. Okay, all right. Now let's see if these actually work. I've seen this on a handful of different shows, on the interwebs, the influencers, all the cool kids with patina are doing this. It's basically steel wool and soap in one piece. And so what they've said to do is you just kind of wet them up, dip it in the water, makes a nice watery mess. And then I'm just gonna see what happens, kind of spray it down. And so what they say is that you kind of scrub it like this and it just cleans off all the muck and the grime, polishes up that patina a little bit. So we shall see what that does. Get it good and sudsy, bring it back on. Oh yeah, work it. I don't know how much you guys want to see me just scrubbing my life away, but here we go. Yeah, I can tell it's already looking a million times better. Oh yeah. It looks like it only sat in the field for, you know, 20 years instead of 50. It's no big deal. Okay, oh, look at that. They didn't tell us about this side effect of Smurf juice. Oh yeah, it probably is. Scrubbing it off a little bit. I didn't even think about that. Oh, what do you think? Have I scrubbed all of it yet? I got most of it at least, right? I don't know if these are single use or not. Okay, so now it's in the garage, and so I don't really have a great way to clean this off. So I'm just gonna get a spray bottle with some water and spray it off and wipe it down with a rag and see what the final product looks like. So here we go. I don't think this was working the other day. Just pour it on it. Probably as good as any, huh? Just don't know why it doesn't work. Oh, of course that's soapy water too. That actually does look a million times better already. Took off some of that orange off the top. It's kind of nice, light, like baby blue color. Way nicer now that it's kind of clean. Oh yeah, that actually worked so well. Kind of just knocks off the grime just enough, but leaves enough grime that it still looks grimy. You can see all that mucky rust and just dirt and grime that's been on it for however long. Just wiping off, but it looks a million times better already. I might hit this like once or twice more, but just to really tune it up a little bit. But I think overall, I'm gonna like the look of this. It's this light blue, this light baby blue color, a little bit patinaed, a little bit distressed. Original door seals, you know, whole 9 yards there. So even had to give the door jambs a little bit of love. Okay, bada bing, bada boom. Look at that, yummy. Yummy, yummy, yummy. All right, so that's what it looks like. It looks like this actually works really nicely. The steel wool soap mixed together, clean this up really well. The color's popping a lot more. So overall, I'm really excited about this. Here, let's do one more quick one. Here, Caleb, film this real quick. Let's look. So you can see how dark and dingy and kind of rusty that door jamb looks, especially compared to the nice fresh bed liner. So let's go ahead and just do a quick scrub down of that, just to give you guys a sampling of how this worked. Just a really nice, easy before and after, because I know that way we got a close-up of it. And I just personally really wanted to see how nice it turned out. See how it popped next to the fresh bed liner. Ugh, that thing is nasty. It's like a straight up mud bath. Ugh, yum. Yummy, yummy. All right, now for the big reveal. Let's see what happens when we wipe it down. Oh yeah, look at that. A little bit of blue, shining through. I think a couple more, you know, hits with it, with the steel wool and some actual like water. It's gonna do the trick, but I mean, that really looks like it polished it. Oh, yummy. Maybe I should have washed it, actually washed this before I jump straight into that piece. But there we go. It looks like the blue's popping out a little bit better. A lot of that rust is gone. So again, what do you guys think? Should I leave it patinaed, leave this distressed baby blue color, or should I go full-blown restoration, nice shiny paint? Let me know. So, and this process has worked really well so far on this door, so I do plan on replicating this process, cleaning up the doors, all of the interior panels, all of that, getting it really nice. And then on the exterior, I'm gonna have to basically match the interior the best I can with my art skills. A little bit of paint, a little bit of rusting it, a little bit sanding it down, all those wonderful things to make the outside look just like the inside, but this inside's looking really fresh after a little bit of work with steel wool and soap. In the process of restoring this thing, getting everything put back together, pulling it apart, I did install some 2.5-inch TJ dual rate, triple rate springs on the front. And when I did that, it did actually lift this 2.5 inches. Big surprise, shocker there. What I forgot to do is lower my adjustable coil spacers here. What I'm gonna get done here eventually, hopefully really soon, is get this thing jacked up, get the springs out, lower this back down a few more inches, because right now I'm sitting about 3 inches too tall in the front and the back. So if we look at the back, I'll show you one more thing. Let's get this out of the way. So same thing in the back. This gap right here is a lot larger than I would want it to be. When I was welding up these rear shackle boxes, you can see that in a previous video. When I was doing that, I did raise it up 1 inch to lower the rear. What I didn't account for is now that the shackle angle is steeper and more correct, the spring rate's also a little bit stiffer, so this has been lifted a little bit more. So what I'm gonna try to do in the back is move the shackle angle forward just a hair and see if that lowers this down a little bit. I'm gonna add a little bit more weight in the back, see what that does. And if worse comes to worse, right now I have 1.5-inch lift shackles in the rear, so I'm gonna switch those back out for stock Cherokee shackles, which should lower this thing about 1.5 inches, maybe a couple inches, and get me really close to the ride height that I'm hoping to achieve while staying on the stock Cherokee leaf springs. With any good project, sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming. And I have to admit, at this point, it's been a little bit overwhelming for me in regards to what's next. I feel really close, but I also feel really far away from being finished. And so what I've decided to do is break this down into a few more bite-sized chunks. And with that in mind, what I've done is started in the engine compartment. And so far, I've run the stock Cherokee wiring loom. You can see nicely secured all along the firewall. Previously, I had welded the Cherokee firewall in and graft it into the stock Commando firewall. And so you can see the wiring looms, all of these grommets, they fit nicely. I personally feel like it's starting to look almost like it would have from the factory if this is what Jeep had done, you know, back in the day. So with that, the wiring's getting kind of tucked away. I've finished all the brake lines. I have videos on that. All of that's done. It's in place. I went ahead and reinstalled the inner fenders, the front support here, the grille. We'll talk about that a little bit, and really just kind of looking where everything's going to fit. And so the big hurdles that I'm going to be showing in some videos coming up is figuring out where I'm going to fit a battery in here along with this fuse panel. So you might not be able to see that. Yeah, so I've got the Cherokee fuse panel that's sitting here, and so it's gonna need to have a home somewhere in here. Then I'm also gonna need to fit the battery. In the future, I want to reinstall the AC, so you'll have an AC compressor sitting here instead of the alternator with all the AC lines, so then your condenser's gonna have a place to sit. Lots of more stuff is gonna have to fit in here, and so I have to be conscious of that. You can see I went ahead and reinstalled one of the hood mounts just to see where the battery can have some space. So that'll be one of the projects I'll be looking to tackle. Then I also have a really nice a really nice radiator that's gonna fit right here. I need to get some bracketry made for that, get that installed. And then moving forward, you can see the grille, again, going for the patina look. I picked this one up from Craig. You remember his Jeepster from a few videos back. Picked this up from Craig. I like the gold because I'm hoping to do a gold and white stripe down the side. So this is probably the grille I'm gonna go with. I did go ahead and install one of the headlights, a little bit of a mock-up here. See how that's gonna fit with the LED, the bigger back piece. They didn't fit in the stock buckets, so I've got to do some finagling there to get that to fit right. But all this is gonna be looking good. I have to get the wiring from the Cherokee harness wired in to make all these pieces work. But my goal coming up is to get everything in this engine bay completely buttoned up and put together so that then I can move to the back. Then I'll do the gas tank, get that done, the rear bumper, get it done, and then I'll be moving to the dash. So that's in my mind the process that I'm going to be going through moving forward, just checking things off one at a time. If there's anything specific that you're really hoping that I cover in any of these videos coming up, make sure to comment below. I hope you enjoyed the update on this CRUSTY build, seeing where it's at and where I plan to go with it. And as always, like, subscribe, do the fun stuff. Until next time.